I'm going to show you how to know the exact lot size to use for any setup. That means in this very video, I'm going to show you how to know how to use the right lot size. Now, instead of you asking question, what lot size should I use? I'm going to show you how to be able to use yourself by your hand and identify the right lot size to use. But before going to that, if you're seeing me for the very first time, my name is Divine. What I do here is document how I trade and make videos that improve how you approach trading. If you want to see content like this video, subscribe and drop a comment. I'll be right back. There are three key things you have to know for you to properly identify the correct lot size to use. And those three key things is going to help you determine what lot size you should use. That means if you're able to understand this particular class, you wouldn't have to ask what lot size should I use. Now, the very first thing you want to have in mind for you to identify the correct lot size to use is to simply, number one is to simply know how much you want to lose. Know how much you want to lose. This is the first thing you need to understand. Now, knowing how much you want to lose is not about how much capital you have, but instead, knowing how much you want to lose is simply you being able to understand how much I'm willing to risk or lose to a particular setup. Remember that every setup that you have will simply have a TP, an entry, and a stop loss. Now, this is simply what makes up a setup. That for you to simply or properly identify the correct lot size, you must have a setup, and then you will now know how much you want to lose to that particular setup. That is the first you want to understand. Now, number two thing you want to understand is to simply, number two, you must know how many pips is your stop loss. This is number two thing you want to understand. You must properly know how many pips is your what? Stop loss. In this case here, I give you an example that this is simply a full setup that have a stop loss, an entry, and a take profit. That means since you've known how much you want to lose to a particular setup, you must then know how many pips is your stop loss. Let's, for example, say this particular example here is simply what? For example, let's say this 25 pip stop loss, 25 pip SL. Now you have known how much you want to lose, and let me say for here you want to lose like a $50, right? And let me say, for example, your account balance is $100. Now this is a very big risk. Don't risk this thing, it's very big. Let's, for example, say your account balance is what? $100, and you have a setup, an entry, stop loss, and a take profit. Now I'm telling you that the first you want to know is simply know how much you want to lose to a particular setup. You want to know how many pips is your stop loss, and then lastly is to simply know how to calculate to identify the right lot size. Number three, calculating it. Now the question becomes, how then do you calculate to be able to identify the right lot size? I'm going to make you understand that in this very video. Remember, these are the two key things that you know that will help you identify this. Now let's assume you have an entry. Like I said, it has a what? 25 pip stop loss, 25 pip SL, right? And you want to lose $50, right? That's what you want to lose. And let's assume like here your entry to your take profit is simply a 1:3, right? Or maximum or above, but we are using this for an example, a 1:3, in this case now, for us to know the lot size to use, lot size, now this is going to be like in mathematics. Lot size is equals to the pips in stop loss. This is a mathematics class now. The pips in stop loss times 10, right, divided by the amount you want to lose. That is amount you want to lose. I don't know if you can see that from there, to lose, but just know that this amount you want to use. Now if you have to simply put this particular formula into equation, this class reminds me of when I was in year 1 doing maths 101 class. Let's continue. Let's assume you want to simply put all of this equation into this formula, right? That you want to simply identify your lot size. I don't know if you can. Let me write this up. Let me write it up here. Let me write it up. Remember, we want to lose 50 bucks and we want to 25 pips, right? Let's assume we want to simply identify the lot size here. Lot size here becomes what? Equals to what? The pips, which is 25 pips, times 10 is equals to what? 250. Is that correct? It's my phone. I'm using my phone to make this, but it's correct. Check it on the whatever. I don't know. Now, for us to simply identify the loss size, they said we have to simply the pips in stop loss, which is what, 25 pips, times 10, which is what, 250, right? Divided by what? The amount you want to lose, 50. That means for us to simply do this mathematics now, I want to simply do what? 50 what divided by what? 250. We'll get the what? Lot size. Someone should do the mathematics. Let me see. Let me get my other phone to do mathematics. Alright. Let me be sure my mathematics is not failing me now. If you have done it, you can write it on the comment section if you have done the mathematics. Let's see what the answer is. I'm here to do mine. Where is the fucking calculator? Okay, I've seen it. And I said to you that you have to simply do what? 50 divided by what? 250, which is what? 0.2. So the right lot size to use here is what? 0.2 lot size. Do you understand? So you are simply understanding the formula and equating the what? The parameters into the formula to get your lot size. That means if my stop loss is 25 pips, right? If my stop loss is 25 pips and 25 pips, and let me say my TP is, let me say my risk reward is 1:3, 1:3, and the right lot size that I'm going to use that will enable me lose what? 50 bucks is simply what? 0.2 lot size. This is very simple mathematics for any account size. So long you know how much you want to risk. That the moment you simply understand how much you want to risk, it's over. That even if I want to risk on my account, I can simply use the right lot size that will enable me lose the $100 on one single trade by simply understanding this calculation. It's very simple. You don't need to be asking your friend what size should I use. You don't need to be asking me on my DM. If you ask me, I'll swear for you. You don't need to be on my DM asking me what size should you use. By simply understanding this particular equation, you can simply identify what lot size to use for any account size. Let me give you another example again. Whether it's a big account too. So whether it's a big account or small account, it works perfectly fine for it, right? Now same equation, but now different amount of risk, right? Let's say our stop loss is 25 pips. Mark, I don't for my hands now. 25 pips stop loss, right? And let's say we want to risk $1,000, right? We want to risk $1,000 in this case here, right? What you want to do is simply times this by 10. That means 25 times 10 is equals to what? 250. What becomes the equation? 1,000 divided by what? 250 is equals to what? I don't know what it is. Do the math. Let's see. Let's do the math together. 1000 divided by what? 250 equals to 4. So the right lot size here is 4 lot size. 4 lot size. That if you use 4 lot size on a 25 pip stop loss, if price go against you, you will lose your $1,000. It's as simple as that. This is applicable to any account size, so long you know how much you want to risk to that particular setup. Remember, the two main factors that determines that means what your loss size should be is how much you're willing to risk and the stop loss in pip. Now let's for instance say this thing change, right? This particular stop loss change. This stop loss in pip now change to, let's say, it changes to, let's say, 30 pip stop loss. The same principle. What's the first principle? 30 times 10 is equals to 300, right? 300. Now if you're risking $50, you simply do what? 50 divided by 300 is equals to what? Someone do the mathematics and put in the comment section. Let me see. 50 divided by 300 is 0.166. So the right lot size used here is simply what? 0.16 lot size. That if you use this lot size and your stop loss is 30 pips, you're going to lose what? $50. It's as simple as that. Very simple. This is applicable to any account size that you want to trade. Now, if you find it very complicated and very confusing, you can simply send a message. So you can simply drop a comment in the comment section. I'm going to respond. And again, if you want to join my one-on-one class, you can simply send a message and you join my class. That will be all for this very video. I will see you in the next one. Peace.